blue bubbles or green bubbles, everyone's welcome here. This is The Hangout with Matthew Carter, Matt Evans, Roy Shapinski, and Tim Van Claveren. Directing the show is Joseph Meacham.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Greetings from the universe.
The multi-metaverse.
The no.
Can I just say let's have a rest in peace?
For who?
Should we do the rest
what?
in peace for Twitter?
What are you talking about? Twitter's fine.
I
It's
guess
still
we'll find
alive.
out.
Not for long.
I mean, how much more
But-
toxic can it get?
It can get pretty toxic. Like,
It's already pretty bad, though.
They could bring Trump back.
I was
True.
about to bring that
Well,
up. I wonder if they will.
no, we'll save it for the big show. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
It's been
Good
crazy.
Lots has happened. This month has been a pretty turbulent month, just all things considered.
Yeah,
I know.
definitely. My work is putting on our first LAN this week, so
Like
right.
actual LAN.
yeah.
Yeah. You mean you plug in a Cat 5 cable or Cat 6 cable, right?
I didn't know people still did that these days.
I am not an engineer. I don't know shit about the cabling. All I know is that we have players coming in to compete for money.
So your Ethernet port, you plug in Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable generally. I think there's Cat 6E. Is there Cat 7 yet?
There is
There's
Cat
Cat
7.
7.
Oh yeah, doesn't that affect like that's latency, right?
Yeah, pretty much, and how fast you can push through the cable. So like if you have a gig internet at home, you have to have a Cat 6 or higher, I think.
Got it.
Just because it pushes the internet through your thing. Comcast should know about that.
Speaking
doubt
of
they
LAN
do.
parties, back when I was in high school, I was going to church and I attended this youth group. And every year there's this big, huge youth conference at this regional. Every region had like a university for this denomination. It was a Nazarene denomination. Hello, Cat. And our region's university is in Nampa, Idaho. So we'd go up to Nampa for the weekend and they'd have like intramural sports and competitions and whatnot. And all the high school students would be hosted in a dorm room with the college students. All the college rooms have Ethernet ports, or at least this was back in 2000. This would have been back in like 2003, 2004, before Halo 2 launched for sure. And one of the best consequences of them having this gigantic network hardwired into every dorm room was we brought our Xboxes, and it didn't matter what floor you were on, as long as you were in the same building, you could plug your Xbox into that Ethernet port, and we just had huge LAN parties the whole entire weekend playing Halo.
God, that's so cool.
When growing up at my when I was younger, my brother had a lot of friends, and we would always do Age of Empire LAN parties. We'd play Age of Empires 2. No other Age of Empires. It was just Age of Empires 2, and we actually had a bunch of computers in our garage that were a mix of Windows 2000 and Windows XP machines, and those were solely just for Age of Empires. And whenever we did a LAN party, we'd bring those out and set them up in our dining room, living room of our house, and always would have network cables running all around and running to each one. Then we'd get like maybe 10 people would come. We'd have a ton of food, and then we would start the LAN party at like 10 a.m. and then we would typically end at like 9 p.m. And we would first of all, the first 2 hours were always troubleshooting, because Age of Empires is a very old game that is not meant to be running on. We'd always have someone would bring their computer and it was running Windows 7, and that would ruin everything, because 7 does not play well with XP machines. And it was just several hours of troubleshooting, and then we'd finally get a match working. And the first hour and a half, we'd set a timer, is no one's allowed to attack anyone else. It's just building up your army and building up your bases. and then after that hour and a half is up, then it's all game, and then we'd have matches that would go for like 6 hours. It was absolutely insane. It was so much fun.
It hurts my soul that you're talking about your adolescent years and using Windows 7. Because, like, I was a full-blown adult when Windows Vista came out.
We had a few Vista. It was like always either Vista or 7. Someone would bring their computer and be like, "Oh, I don't need an XP machine. I've got Windows 7." And we're like, "All right, here we go for 2 hours of troubleshooting. Let's do this."
I stayed on XP for as long as I could. The only reason I had to upgrade was because I bought a laptop that came with Vista and I didn't have a choice. But the second 7 came out, I'm like, I'm upgrading this.
7 was great. I loved 7. I was so excited when that came out. I was so happy. And then I loved XP. XP was my definite
XP was
favorite.
the best.
It was great.
I still like if I could still run XP today on my Windows machine, that's exactly what I would run.
So at work, we work on Windows XP machines, and I occasionally need to like work on one, and everything's so different because I have never used the control panel or did IT stuff on XP because I was a child, and so having to service Windows XP has been quite a challenge because
how do you like it compared to what it's like now? They tried to streamline everything.
It's so much everything. Well, so like Windows 10, I'm fortunate because I used Windows 10 when I was in college, so I know Windows 10 very well because of that. It's better, but I hate the fact that when Windows 10 first came out, the settings and control panel, those two things were like completely different. You would have to change them in both places many times, and now it's a little bit different because you make one change in one and it reflects in the other, and it's vice versa. But I can only service in control panel when it comes to that.
See, I was the exact complete opposite. When Windows 10 came out, I'd go into control panel and be like, where the f- do they have this setting hidden? I knew where it was in every single version of Windows before this. And now they have everything because they now have everything mega grouped together into different settings, and it's not laid out the way that it was. And it takes me a lot longer to find settings in Windows 10. And I haven't used Windows 11, but I imagine it's the same in Windows 11 roughly. I want XP back.
How come that nobody has love for Windows Millennium Edition?
We don't talk about Millennium
What is
Edition.
that?
What is that?
Never even saw it.
That's what came out after XP.
Like that might have been on my high school computer.
No, it came out before
maybe?
XP. Millennium
Did it?
Edition in 2000 roughly came out around the same time. XP didn't come out because I was working when XP came out. I bought my first copy of XP, like actually bought it myself. I didn't like get it because my dad was huge into computers at the time, and he'd gotten me every operating system for my computer before then. I had a homemade computer that he built, and I went out and bought my own copy of XP because I wanted XP because I thought it looked so cool because it was so radically different design wise. But yeah, IMI in 2000 came out roughly around the same time, and 2000 is the preferred of the two. But let's face it, 98 was amazing. Everything between 98
No.
and XP
No. 98 was not amazing. 98 SE was amazing. 98 was
SE?
yeah, it was
Yes, there
second
was.
edition. Second edition. It was 98 SE was the better of the two.
And I think that's what I used to was SE.
Most people did.
Generalizing, 98 was better than IMI, and 2000 we don't talk about that. And then XP came out and it was great, and then Vista came out and it sucked, and then 7 came out and it was great, and 8 came out and it sucked. Basically, Windows is like in every other generation.
Yep.
Except for 9 and 10 are so similar that they're probably both great. So I thought 10 was pretty decent.
Yeah.
And, I had a Windows. My first ever computer was Windows 95, and I had a ton of files I had a bunch of like cool music files and cool games. I had a Bugs Bunny game on there, and my brother, he started to get into computers at one point, and I think he took a few classes in school, and I don't remember what where it was or what grade, but he learned about computers, and he took my computer and opened it up, and he had another computer opened up as well. And I was like, "What are you doing to my computer?" He's like, "I'm gonna make it better." And I was like, "How?" And he's like, "I'm just gonna make it better." And he was basically planning on combining the two computers together and making one giant supercomputer, which was the supercomputer was going to be really, really powerful, apparently, like really just fast. And I was like, okay, just don't ruin anything. And he, of course, plugged in all these wires together and everything, and then pushed the power button, and the whole thing smoked up. The hard drive got fried.
no.
But I mean, two
like,
graphics card is got one graphics card is awesome. Two graphics cards got to be better. One motherboard, awesome. Two's got to be better, right?
two CPUs, what? So fried the whole thing, and then I just was like, "What about my files?" He's like, "I don't know." It's like, I don't know what to tell you. It didn't work.
And
It didn't.
There went your Bugs Bunny game.
I know. I'm so mad.
My first Windows operating system was not Windows; it was DOS.
Oh,
Way back in the day.
what a trooper!
I remember Windows 3.1.
3.1. Yep.
That was my first operating system. We installed it with a floppy disk, and then we upgraded to Windows 95, and I actually had Windows 95 on a floppy disk. It was 16 floppy disk, but I was able to install Windows 95 using a floppy disk when it first came out. So
I remember that.
and it ran hella slow though. We finally upgraded it, but I remember the first time I got internet too, because we got an AOL disk in the mail, and so it was like
they sent you one in the mail.
Yeah, I got it. It was like 30 hours free, and then it was like $19.99 a month or something, or $19.99 for a certain amount of hours or something. After that, and I remember us getting set up on it, and I was putting it in. We put it in and got it all connected to the internet. You had to dial up to using the phone number and everything. That's how old I am.
Can I interest any of you in a copy of Easy DOS?
No thanks.
Is
Sign me up.
how to use DOS. In color, mind you. In full color, might I add.
I'm good.
How much can I buy that for?
Like
Oh,
10
man.
cents.
No, that's a steal.
Use DOS.
I'll pay for the
these
shipping. Mail it quick.
Photos of DOS.
Oh my god! I think my first computer might have been a Macintosh, if we're not including like gaming systems.
Was it the green screen ones?
Oh, my actual.
No, it had color on it.
Oh yeah, Commodore 64. That's the first computer I actually had.
Mm.
We had two of them. We had the Commodore 64 desktop, and then we had the Commodore 64. I don't even know what you call it, but for lack of better terms, it was a laptop. Go look up a picture of this. It looks like a briefcase.
Laptop.
In the top, the cover came off, and the cover was your keyboard, and the screen was like this big, and just to the next of it was where you stuck the floppy disks in. Like, go look it up. It's awesome. Like the handle flipped down, and it was the stand that propped it up.
I don't wait. What is what? What
Can you
is
see
this?
it?
Commodore 64 original hardware, laptop, and the keys are like extruding so far out of the flat. But was there like a screen thing in the?
Yeah, it was
bottom
part of
panel?
yeah. Yeah,
Huh.
so you took
Why does it have a ring?
like I said, the cover was a keyboard, and the keyboard came off and was down there, and then
Yeah.
the handle flipped down and propped the entire suitcase apparatus upwards, and there was a screen about this big on the one side, and then you had the disc slot to the right of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we had one of those, and we had a desktop Commodore 64.
Interesting. This thing looks
It was
cool.
amazing. I had this Hot Wheels game I used to play on all the time. You like had to travel from like one screen to the other, and like if a building was on fire, you had to drive to the fire station and get the fire truck and take it back to where the building was on fire and shoot it with water. It was amazing. Way
Yes.
ahead of its time.
This stuff was so like magical back then because they were just, I don't know, figuring out how to put it all together, and it felt everything felt new. Now we have so much. They're, figuring out how fast they can get the screen to run, which is barely noticeable to the human eye, how many pixels they can cram into something, which is barely noticeable to the human eye. But like the transition from any of the like operating systems that we've been talking about, or like the Commodore, was all like leaps and bounds. So this thing is all like hard clamshell plastic and super durable.
It was amazing.
And now I'm going to have to turn this off because there's a steampunk computer hole that's threatening me. I think if you guys could go back and live on any one operating system, I don't know, 2000 or prior, what would it be? No, yeah, 2000 or prior, maybe including XP.
If I could choose XP would be my Windows of choice. I mean, I didn't use Mac OS prior to Catalina. I mean, I emulated El Capitan on my Windows computer, but that's not. I mean, I didn't really use it a whole lot. If I had to go prior to 2000, then I would probably go 98 SE.
I think I would do Windows XP too, because that was the first one where I felt like excited to have an operating system, and it was one that everybody was like talking about. Even if you weren't into computers, everybody was just like, "This operating system is really good. We've got something great on our hands here."
The way you could theme it, and it came with that Space Cadet pinball game.
Oh yeah,
I would say XP as well, just because of number one, the graphics of Windows XP were absolutely fantastic, and then I think did Steam launch came out not that long after.
Steam did launch on XP, yes,
interesting.
because I was playing Counter-Strike on XP back in the day.
So there were a lot more games. Also, I don't remember the first one that had DirectX, but I know DirectX was it 7? I don't know which DirectX was on XP, but
7 sounds about right.
Yeah. I think gaming on XP at the time was like prime, because that was like when all the good games were coming out, like Counter-Strike.
When Steam launched, so prior to Steam launching, everybody was playing Counter-Strike, and that's kind of what kicked off Steam. I had a bootleg copy of Counter-Strike back when you could like get CD key hacks way back in the day. So I had this pirated copy of Counter-Strike, and then when Steam launched, it let me import all of my Half-Life, all my hacked Valve games that I had, like Half-Life and whatnot, into Steam. So I have these copies of games in my Steam library that I didn't actually buy, because back in the day, like that's just how things were.
Heck yeah, beautiful. That reminds me, I used to do, like, when they were transitioning from, was it 7 to Windows Vista or something? I was getting
went from
pirated
Vista to 7.
Vista to 7. Okay, so then I was pirating copies of Windows Vista and trying like all the different like mods and texture packs and icon packs and like stylized backgrounds and stuff with Windows Vista. It was freaking crazy. Like torrenting was starting to get popular around then. Limewire was back then too. Ridiculous.
LimeWire was back around XP. I was using Napster and LimeWire back on XP. Spending like all day downloading a song. Yeah.
How much LimeWire did Matt use? I need to know.
I bet Matt didn't use much LimeWire.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I did use LimeWire.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was something else that I used. I can't remember what the other one was.
Napster and LimeWire were the big ones until Napster had that big
Napster. That was I used Napster for a while, and then LimeWire. I wonder if LimeWire is still around right now.
No, we all thought we were cool because we were torrenting on LimeWire and using Firefox instead of Internet Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
We knew how to use computers because we were using Firefox. We knew that was the browser to use.
So LimeWire is back to bring digital collectibles to everybody.
Whoa.
That sounds way too legitimized.
Yeah. No way. They're doing NFTs?
Yep. Limewire is
Maybe.
relaunching, yeah.
Crazy.
NFTs. So if you go to Limewire, it's the same logo too that they had back then. You can
Oh, the
join the wait
nostalgia.
list.
Hmm.
I could join. I'm a creator. I could maybe get an inside look.
That's so.
I don't know.
That sounds
I'm
very
just
cringe.
I'm so far behind on NFTs. Like
I hate
even know.
NFTs with
They're
a
not worth
passion.
getting up to pace with.
Yeah, I hope they die with a vengeance. To be honest.
There's
Random thing. Can anybody guess what's trending on Twitter right now? And I'll give
Other
you
than Elon Musk?
Other than that, yeah. Without looking. Without looking.
a
No.
flaming pile of feces.
No.
And it's just.
Well, he
being
said he was going to
retweeted.
give us hints. Let's get our hints.
I'll give
Fair,
you a hint.
fair.
It's food.
Well, May is coming up, so
Naruto?
Pancakes,
burrito.
Chick-fil-A.
waffles.
Why
Oh.
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, why?
I have no idea. It's got
What did they
it's got
do?
it's almost got 10,000
Listen.
things. Oh, they introduced a new drink, I guess, today, it looks like.
Oh, what drink?
What flavor of Mountain Dew is it?
It's a cold berry drink
Huh.
nationwide.
That sounds good.
Crazy how something like that can be trending.
Yeah.
You have to
I
go
mean,
to Chick-fil-A.
I mean,
in
if
order
you
to
look
get
at
that,
everything
though.
else on here, it's Elon Musk, somebody from CNN, who is talking about the Twitter, and then there's like 3 hashtags for like Elon Musk that are trending right now, and then yeah, just some random. The Mets game at Cardinals is trending. So it's just random stuff, but I just like to look every once in a while to see what's, yeah. I'm gonna miss that when that feature goes away.
Was it you guys who posted like the girl who was posting to her Twitter followers, but her mom kept trying to shut down her access to Twitter? So like she was on her phone, and then her mom took away her phone. And then she went onto her Nintendo DS and she's like, OMG, my mom took my phone. I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to tweet to you guys. Sorry. And then her mom took her DS and then she goes to her fridge and logs on to Twitter on her fridge. And then she's like, my mom seriously is taking away everything. What the heck am I going to do? This is horrible or something. And then people were like, stick in there, girl, or whatever. Like you're actually tweeting from like your Nintendo DS and you're like LG fridge. And I was like, that happened years ago, but it was making a resurgence, and I randomly caught that by doing that same thing, just going through what's trending. I'm like, what has been happening on Twitter? See, that's why I'm okay if Elon Musk comes in and cleans it up, because that's
I never
just
heard about
ridiculous.
that. That's wild.
It's really funny.
I'll see if I can try and find it or something.
That feeling when mom takes away your phone, so you have to go to the fridge.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because I and thanks to Roy for pointing this out, but the one thing that I hate about this, and I hope that at least hope that this gets fixed. I mean, I think there's going to be more issues than anything. But when you go back and you look at a timeline and somebody retweets something from like 6 years ago, because there was a Twitter message that the first thing when I did when I opened up my Twitter message is, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I posted it in the chat here. But so when I first opened up Twitter this morning, it said it was from the Twitter account, and it literally said Twitter is about to go offline. See you soon. And I'm like,
I saw
son
that.
of a bitch. And I'm like, so I screenshot it and I put it in the chat. This was like super early in the morning. I just woke up, but this is the first thing that I looked at when I was on. And I was like, and so I posted it, I put it in there, and then Roy did point out that it was from 2007. And
I
somebody
checked the
just
dates on
retweeted.
tweets for
But it was
anyone.
getting retweeted multiple times, like just literally kept getting retweeted throughout the day. So I wish that they would like call that shit out. Like, this tweet is from like years ago, because people have done that on other shit too, and it drives me nuts. So,
Bro, the date is literally on the tweet.
I get it,
So
but when you just wake up in the middle of the night and Twitter is being sold, and you like look at that and go, "What the fuck?" Like,
No, I can relate to that. I've done that. I can see
Like,
how that happens. You don't look at the,
Tim fell for it too, because I
you don't look at
posted
the
it.
date. You don't look
Yeah.
at the date. You
Well,
just
you should.
assume.
You don't.
You just
don't.
assume if a tweet is on your screen, it's recent. You're not like,
Yeah.
no. At what point do I think, oh, this must be from 2007? Obviously,
I
no.
caught it pretty easily.
So here's the other thing too. Why the hell did Twitter go offline in 2007 for
Good question.
a while?
Someone must have needed to unplug one of the servers so they could plug the toaster oven in for a quick to warm up a bagel.
Bro, I need my bagel.
Let me see.
Bro, I
I'm
got
gonna
frozen pizza bagel bites to work today. Oh shoot, I don't have a way to cook it. We don't have enough outlets in our dorm.
So I just Googled, why did Twitter go offline? Here it is. Oh, that's just the tweet. Let's see. Can't figure out. Oh, internet. No, that was.
Maybe they changed servers or something.
Yeah, or domains. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Some weird shit like
But-
that.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
2007 was.
I'm just saying that this is a great segue into the main topic, because it's about that time.
Yeah, let's go ahead and
Reasons
and
Twitter
roll that
might go
intro.
down.
Android and iPhone users, welcome. BlackBerry and Windows Phone users, these phones don't even support podcasting, bro. The podcast going beyond the headlines. This is the Gooplycast. Here's your host, Matthew Carter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gooplycast. We're live right now on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. If you can't make our live show, grab our podcast on all of your favorite Android and iOS podcasting apps and Facebook podcasts. I'm your host, Matt Carter. Joining us tonight is the Blue Squadron. We've got Blue Leader, Matt Evans. Good to see you, Matt.
Hello.
We have Blue 2, Roy Shapinski. Hey, Roy.
Evening.
And we got Blue 3, Tim Van Claveren. Hey, Tim.
Low.
Also directing the show tonight is Joseph Meacham. Glad to have you back, Joseph.
What's up, my fellow tarnished?
So we should flash the breaking news. I don't have like a little breaking news. The Gooplycast was just sold to Apple for $37 billion.
Oh, heck
Woo!
yeah. A fair price.
All right, fellas, we did it.
I gotta
did it,
leave.
fellas.
I'm no longer doing this podcast. I can now retire. I will see you all later.
Just kidding, everybody. Tim, get back here.
Tim's like, I already quit my job.
Yeah, he was already texting his boss saying, "I quit." Yeah.
He had that text saved because he knew it was easy to send off. It was 2 swipes. You can't take that back. He said some things.
Roy wouldn't quit the podcast anyways, because he would be working for Apple, and that would be the greatest thing ever.
I mean,
On
it
the
would
other
be
hand,
true
I
that Tim,
I don't know.
Tim would keep me on, so
Yeah.
Wouldn't it
you
just
might find the
be
rest of you.
perfect if this did become the Apple podcast? I mean, it would be the completion of like Matt's 10-year plan to get everybody on the podcast into Apple somehow. I'll have the phone by then and like an Apple Watch and everything.
If we can get you,
Yep.
you're holding out right now. If we can get you onto the Apple wagon, maybe we can pitch it. It'd
Think
be
about
the
it like
Apple.
this.
Maybe
If
it'd
I
be
don't
the
have the
Apple
phone-
Cast.
Exactly.
Maybe it'd be
As
Apple
soon-
Cast.
As soon as Matt Carter gets onto iOS full time, he's gonna start wearing turtleneck sweaters to every podcast ever.
What is going on with your voice right now?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. You sound like you're
Sounds
like
super
90
deep.
years old.
What? Really?
Yeah, so like I'm talking normally, maybe. I don't even know anymore. And then you sound like this.
Yeah.
There's
You
some
have
weird,
it sounds
like
shit going on with your audio.
It's pretty.
That was a fantastic impression there, Matt.
I'm just gonna say,
Spot on.
we have literally the worst problems with Tim's audio. Even when we're on the Restream part and Joe's not here, we use a platform called Restream. We have nothing but issues with Tim's audio. The second he gets on, he's like really low. He's like, like, or there's hissing noise, or there's a server in the background. I even found him a. I was just gonna say, I even found him a data rack for like $25.
Oh, nice. Oh, he's muted.
But they wouldn't hold it for him on a weekend. So
You gotta love how that doesn't happen during the pre-show either.
yeah,
Just like right when he
happens
comes live.
right here on. Now we can't hear you at all. You're muted.
Yeah, if you're trying to talk, you're muted.
Tim, why are you
muted.
subjecting us to this? Don't you have
Testing my
Mac Mini?
audio.
Why are you using the Mac Mini?
aren't you? Hey, here's the other question. Aren't you like a service desk technician or something?
Aren't you
like
IT?
aren't you like an IT genius or something?
And I fixed my microphone. What more do you want from me? I muted myself so I could troubleshoot and do my job, and then y'all
definitely did
giving
not
me
fix it.
crap.
You definitely
What?
did not fix it.
You are super clipping.
Yeah.
Are you sure your gain on your microphone is down? If you're
The
looking
question
at
is,
it,
would he
it
have
should
this
be
problem
turned
if
to
he's
the
running on
left.
a Mac?
He wouldn't. I don't understand.
Oh my god.
Where is your Mac Mini?
It's
Okay, he's
probably
gone.
sitting right next to his.
Poor Timothy.
Oh.
Oh,
Upgraded.
look at that.
He's using his IT help desk.
Oh my god.
He's calling his IT. He's calling his service desk level 2.
The intensity of focus that's on his face right now, switching the audio inputs and outputs, is
He looks
Yeah, he's
fucking
calling-
over it.
He's definitely calling service desk 2 level help desk.
Yeah, he's escalating 100%.
Yeah. Yep. I'm having some issues with my audio. Like, can you help me? I'm like right in the middle of a podcast.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you
love
sound-
this. This is great.
We're going IT style, baby.
Wow. Oh my god.
That's it. We're
Oh
going.
my god.
I don't know if this is better.
I don't know if this is better.
This is
the deep
certainly
voice
better.
was funny. That would have been fun to play with. This,
Yeah, there was
Oh
nothing
my
wrong with the deep voice. We were enjoying it.
yeah.
We were just pointing out that you have
Hold on.
nothing but problems with your.
Y'all are saying
Wait,
this,
sound
but
like-
I was dying when hearing the clipping.
Maybe he was hitting second puberty or something.
For real though, I was like, "Damn, Tim's voice." All right, guys.
Wow.
So Twitter was purchased like today by Elon Musk. Yeah, he
What?
what is it? The fund. He had the funding. He already had the funding. Had all of that lined up. He I don't know what it's called. Applied to buy it, and the board accepted the offer to buy Twitter to take the company private. And Twitter confirmed that today.
For $44 billion, by the way.
It was like 54.
No, it says 44.
Was it 44?
Oh, it says,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it
it's
was
50. It's 50. It's 54.20 per share.
Per share.
So yeah, so it's $44 billion, but he's the majority owner of it. So I mean, does he?
Well,
pay
he's the
himself?
sole owner of it now.
Well, no, he's still got to go through regulatory processes. But
I mean, if he takes the company private, he will be the sole owner.
I think he
He's
owns the
buying out all
majority
the
of the
shares.
share already. I think he owns majority of the shares already because he did that to try and get on the board, and then he was rejected for get on the board. So then that's when he made the pitch to buy.
I believe he owned only like 9 or 10% of shares, which is still, when you think about it, a big chunk
A lot,
of shares
yeah.
Mhm.
So
for one person to have.
But I think he was the person that had the most shares,
He did.
which then would entitle him to get onto the board. And yeah, that didn't happen. So then he bought them. So I'm just gonna go off because I've told you guys my feelings about this, and I just want to get it off my chest. I am really concerned. I am all for First Amendment rights, and having your rights to do it, but I'm not at the rights where you can bully people, and you can, say whatever you want to people, that you can, you just can't. Like, you can't do this. And so I feel bad for that because, has Twitter got it right all along? No. Like, they messed up, they made poor decisions and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel like this is not going to be good for those type of things. I feel like, there's going to be a lot more false information on there. I feel like there's going to be a lot more bullying. I think it's going to be a pretty much unsafe place, when, who knows what's going to happen, to the trust and service department, which basically looks out for those type of things, and stuff like that. And then second of all, I follow a lot of people that work at Twitter, I've always been a fan of Twitter platform, for years to come. I know a couple people that work there, and it's sad because they don't know what's going to happen to their jobs, Elon Musk has they've agreed to pause all changes to the product until the sale is done. So who knows? We're probably not getting our edit button that's supposed to come out, but unless it's necessary for the change of the business, then they're going to pause all of that. So, like, I definitely agree that, Twitter's not made it all perfect at all the times, but I thought it was making changes and going in somewhat of the right direction. They still have a lot of things to figure out and stuff like that, but they were adding new features. They were trying different things out, and there's a lot of spam on there too. And that's something definitely that they have to combat. But I think that they could have done it on their own, and I'm really hoping that this doesn't get effed up. So that's just kind of that. I'm just putting that out there. That's where I stand. I've never been a fan of Elon Musk. I don't have anything really against him.
Nah, fuck that guy.
Joseph.
Tell us how you really feel, Joe.
Yeah. Like, he, like, Tesla, yeah, they make great cars. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I don't own one or anything like that, but, the satellite internet, pretty cool thing, amazing kind of cool thing to do, stuff like that. But, like I said, I hate billionaires that go out and buy shit, because they can. And I feel like this was, he was rejected from being on the board. So what does he do? He goes and buys the place. It's like
fucked.
It's like that's messed up, and and I feel sorry for everybody that works there, and the people that are going to lose their job, over it. So
I think the thing that I'm maybe concerned most about, because I'm of two minds about the Twitter thing, but I think the thing that I'm concerned most about is that Elon is buying Twitter to kind of play around with, because it's a social media platform which has some like computer engineering to it. But I mean, what he's doing on the side with Starlink, with Tesla, with Neuralink, with the Boring Company, those are all like engineering challenges that he's really apt to solve.
Well,
is he apt to solve? That's cringe.
Well, and here's the thing: like,
the man made Tesla and is doing Neuralink.
The man did not make Tesla.
So
he didn't even build Tesla.
From what I remember, he and his friend were doing something, and then like took the Tesla name in some capacity. But I don't know that he like specifically built the initial car startup from the ground up.
He bought Tesla and then pushed out the founders.
That's kind of
He did not make that company.
okay.
So here's the thing. He's a very First Amendment person, you know, and it is, you know, everybody has a First Amendment right, but there's got to be, you know, rules around that, you know, certain things. And you know, he was really upset because he's gotten in trouble over Twitter. You know, he's been suspended and he's been banned. You know, not banned, but he's been suspended from posting or whatever, or gotten in trouble. You know, and some of the things that I think that people get suspended for and stuff are stupid. You know, and stuff like that. But like, I mean, I think that Twitter was making changes to policies and stuff like that. But like, I mean, like we were talking about before the show, Donald Trump comes back. Like, I just feel like this is gonna, like, I was not on Twitter when Donald Trump was on Twitter. Like, it just it was so toxic, and it pushed me away from it. You know, I used to be on Twitter a lot more before that. I didn't really open up Twitter, and I had really kind of just gotten back to it, you know, over the last year or so. You know, and I've been more active on it, you know, because I've liked it, you know, and stuff like that. But I feel like I feel like it's just gonna not be the platform for me. So
I don't know if that much will actually change on Twitter after his purchase.
well, I mean, I think it's gonna go back to, because, you know, he talked about like even having his fierce, I don't know, he said he even wants his fierce critic or something like that to be allowed on Twitter, you know, and who is that? Like, you know, is he going to bring back Donald Trump? Is he going to bring back these people that are spreading misinformation, you know, and stuff like that? And I feel like that is what, I think that's what it's going to be like. If, you know, if you get rid of a trust and safety department, you don't have filters, you know, you don't have that, you get bullying, you know, which we've had and we still have. You know, I'm not saying that it's all gone, but you don't. You know, and when you cut back on that trust and safety, you know, I was following somebody who works for Twitter. Worked at they don't work there anymore, but they worked on the Twitter safety department, and you know, they were responsible for, you know, checking accounts and, you know, stuff like that, and looking for people who are bullying in particular, and they said it's pretty much going to go away, is what they feel like.
Why would it go away if it's one of the things, like, because the trust and safety, anti-bullying, doesn't that include anti-harassment and?
But when you take away, but when you take away funding and you take away, you know, a department, you know, because I'm sure, I don't know how many people are in the trust and security department, you know, trust and safety or whatever they call it. I have no idea how many people are in there. But when you take that many people away from that team and you rely on
How many
bots,
people?
well, I don't know, but I
Okay.
mean, there's probably thousands of people that work on this team. You know, they're probably separated in groups and stuff like that, you know, and they have to review tweets and stuff like that. They get flagged.
Localized for different areas and such.
Yeah, they get flagged and stuff like that by bots or by other things, but they have to go through like human review, you know, and stuff like that. When you cut funding and you cut, you know, those people out of it, what are you going to have? You're going to have more of, you know, the bad actors on there, the people who are spreading misinformation, bullying, those type of things, you know. So I mean, I don't think anything will change in the platform itself. I think it's still going to operate probably the same. I mean, who knows what, I mean, I don't know what's on their roadmap for products and stuff like that, you know, and stuff like that. I know they've done a lot of things with APIs and stuff like that for third-party developers and stuff, and I don't think that'll change as much, but, you know, I think we'll see some changes to the overall content of what's on Twitter, you know, and, you know, less people being banned, you know, people who are banned being brought back, you know, those type of things, you know, but Twitter lets you make as many accounts as possible. Facebook does not. Facebook, like, detects when you try to create new accounts and then tries to deactivate them. Same thing with, well, Instagram lets you create multiple accounts, but like, I feel like that's kind of the way they should go, you know, because if you have more of a more of a lockdown on creating multiple accounts and stuff like that, then I think that you have less information for people to come out there and start creating and sharing things and stuff like that. Because if you're banned from one platform or another, you can go in there and try and create a new account, but it's going to block you. Because it detects your IP address, it detects your all the devices that you've ever logged in on, those type of things. Like, it collects data just like all the other social media network companies do. So I'm looking for a new platform. I don't know if you guys ever remembered app.net. Any of you guys ever?
No.
So app.net was like a Twitter clone. It was like literally a Twitter clone. And it was basically brought out there to kind of be the better of Twitter. It was guaranteed to always be free, and it was to be available for third-party developers to create multiple apps, because this was back when Twitter was pushing away all third-party apps and stuff like that. So app.net came out as a clone version. It looked very much similar to Twitter. It wasn't a pure copy though. Kind of like one of the other social media platforms that launched kind of recently, but they were developing cool things and stuff like that. It didn't last. I think it went offline a few years ago, finally, and completely shut down. But yeah, it was very similar to what Twitter was, and it was a micro. They called themselves a micro blogging platform. So. Yeah, so I guess we'll see what kind of happens, and then also what this means for advertisers too. If they go start changing, it could be that they try to change the content that's on Twitter, and advertisers are not for that and are pulling from that. So it'll be interesting to see how advertisers, take this change as well.
I think it'll be kind of a delicate balance, because Elon Musk is such he's essentially like a really beneficial toxic figure. Like, on one hand, people follow what he says on Twitter and base essentially life decisions, like financial decisions, off of whatever whim or meme he's interested, like the things that happen with Dogecoin particularly. People went and invested a bunch of money in that, and then there's a ton of crypto scams involving him and really just anyone else involved in cryptocurrency. You have the fact that he was kicked off the Tesla board for smoking weed on Joe Rogan and just running his mouth or whatever. So you have the bad image of Elon Musk, which is like billionaire throwing his money around, not a stable person to have as the face of a company. But you also have half the internet loves him. He's doing all of this good work in his companies and what he's pushing for, and you have that person with so much competing context leading Twitter. I imagine that some advertising agencies, some businesses might not want to be associated with anything that Elon Musk has to do. That maybe they'll move more to TikTok. Maybe it'll push more people to TikTok or Instagram or more platforms that are, less just not controlled by Elon Musk or his influence or the possible reach of his influence.
It's also wondering, and who's going to run the company? Is he going to come over and run, Twitter? Is he going to inject himself into it? There's a lot of unknown questions about it. I haven't deleted my account, and I probably won't delete my account, but I do know people that have deleted their account or are planning on deleting their account.
See, that surprises me, because he's not an irrational person. He's not going to go to Twitter and blow it up and blow up the foundations of what he is.
And I think that's extreme, and stuff like that, those people that are out there. But there's some people who just don't want to be associated with him, and, that's their decision, like I said, I won't probably delete my account, but, there are some people out there that might. So it'll be interesting to see how that runs. I'm going to be interested to see if he plays a day-to-day role into it or if he gets involved in it more and stuff like that. If he buys it and just kind of stays back from it, then we'll see, kind of what happens. There's also the possibility that the government might regulate social media or put some type of, thing on it as well. Who knows how that's going to play out. There's a lot of things. I try to minimize myself on social media, and I've tried to do it a lot better, but I have really enjoyed Twitter over the last several months, and I was really disappointed when I woke up and heard the news today that the sale was likely going to go through, because I was really hoping that it wasn't, and so
my hope for Twitter, if and this is kind of like the best of both worlds. Say Elon Musk buys it, but he's not very involved. Maybe he's as involved with Twitter as he is with his other companies, which might mean not that involved, but gathering people that make Twitter a functioning like power. Maybe that means bringing in psychologists to do research on Twitter and everything, and getting people really invested in like optimal social discourse to be running and guiding the platform. And maybe because he's like a software guy and he's such a vocal guy about everything that he's doing, maybe that will infect Twitter in some way, and so Twitter will be more open, and we'll get to see more of, along with him talking about what his plans are for Twitter, there might be some validation of what his plans will be, since he'll be scrutinized so much. And he's been kind of open about the things that he's been doing with like Tesla and SpaceX. So maybe that will be part of the culture of Twitter, because Twitter seems kind of more product focused right now than it is on. I guess the like best scenario is we get like whistleblower level information, like we got with the Facebook whistleblower, but just given out by Twitter itself. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah. Somebody tweeted up there, are we finally going to get a Twitter bird Tesla? The Twitter blue Tesla.
Oh,
somebody wants like a limited edition a Twitter Tesla, and he's really into Teslas. Like all he pretty much talks about is Teslas, but
he could do it. Musk could do it.
He wants a limited edition with the blue, the blue. So, Tim, you've been awfully quiet. Do you have anything to add?
So I don't know how I feel about this, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know how exactly I feel. This is something that definitely only time will tell. I like Elon. I know a lot of people don't like him.
Cringe.
But I know. I like him. I think the things that I don't want to say everything he does is good, because definitely not. The fact that he tweeted out a picture of Bill Gates this weekend that's in a pregnant male emoji didn't really make me too happy.
What?
I did not see that, and I really honestly don't want to see that.
Why do you like Elon, Tim?
So, okay. SpaceX. I think what he's done with SpaceX is really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool when the US government funds a private company to do all the things NASA could have already done, huh?
They were spending NASA was spending tons of money for years, not innovating on rockets before Musk, or at least before SpaceX.
I like SpaceX is one of my favorite things that my favorite thing that Elon Musk has his hand in. Just everything I've watched a lot of the rocket launches and all of that. I think it's cool, like what he's doing. The Falcon Heavy was super cool to watch when that happened. Anyway,
there are. I'm just gonna say there are 2 other companies that went to space as well.
Yeah.
No, it's just Elon Musk. He's really cool. We love him.
Who are the other? What are the other 2 companies?
Virgin Atlantic
and
Jeff Bezos.
So first of all,
Blue Origin.
Their rockets didn't even go fully into space. They just dabbled on the surface and then like went back and everyone's like, whoa, you're an astronaut now. Whoa, Jeff Bezos is an astronaut. So cool. And then he's like, I just want to thank all my employees.
But
yeah, fuck that guy
the thing-
too. I'm not defending him.
Yeah. I don't like Jeff Bezos either. Like I just I don't like any billionaires really, honestly. But like Jeff Bezos did go to outer space. He didn't have a contract to go to the International Space Station, but he probably could have. Like if that's what their mission was. Right now it was to get to outer space, but he did that. So. But anyways, go on, Tim.
Didn't Jeff Bezos sue NASA because
Yeah, because I think it was because of the contract I think he thought it was unfairly. I think Elon was
Given to
unfairly
SpaceX.
given, or something like that. But it's like I think I don't know. He sued. I don't know. Somebody sued Microsoft. I think Jeff Bezos also sued the government over cloud services for
I think that was
Microsoft.
during the Trump era.
It was. I think Microsoft won the award, and then he was saying that again it was improperly, given to.
But Amazon
give it to
technically
them
has the best/better cloud service, and they gave it to Microsoft because Trump just hated either Jeff Bezos or
Jeff Bezos. They never got along. Like
because he owns the Washington Post, and the Washington Post is saying some hot stuff about Trump.
And here's the thing, and I don't know, but like the Washington Post claims that they're independent, not pressured by anything. I don't know if that's true or not. But
And
like
IGN is.
Yeah. So, but now, like, when you have Elon Musk coming in here, buying one of the biggest social media platforms out there, and, like, I feel like it's just the same as owning some big news organization.
100% agree. That's exactly what I was going to bring up next. It's just like Bezos buying the Washington Post and being able to influence public opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
What, like, the play for Jeff Bezos buying the Washington Post was like, you have Audible, you care about podcasts, you care about distributing the written word, you buy the Washington Post because it's like a name that people know, so you can slap that on things to legitimize it. Is Elon going to put Twitter bots into like cars and have them like talking to each other over Twitter where we get to like
Twitter
watch?
is what enables a lot of people to see the things the Washington Post posts. So if he has a strategy he wants to employ that limits what people can see, like it's even bigger.
Yeah. There's the algorithm out there. Every social media platform has it. What changes are going to be made to the algorithm of Twitter in order to change or modify the content of Twitter? I don't feel like it should be ran by just one person.
Agreed.
It's too big. So, Roy, you've been awfully quiet.
I'm not against necessarily First Amendment rights, but I think when you have so many people from so many different walks of life, not only that, but you have people from various different countries, that your First Amendment right, or our First Amendment right as Americans, is not in play. Because you have people, like I said, from different walks of life, different countries, different rules. Granted, most of the Western world has some sort of free speech allotted to them, but this is an international platform.
Unless you're in Russia,
yeah,
then you don't have the right for free speech.
But it's an international platform, and because of that, certain community guidelines have to be agreed upon. And I think that trying to stop misinformation, trying to stop hate speech, things like that are completely warranted on an open international forum. I think that if Musk tries to come in here and change a lot of that, there's going to be a lot of issues with people wanting to stay on Twitter, and because of that, I don't think that he's going to change that much of it. I think that he's smart enough to realize that there's going to be a certain level of public backlash if he were to change a lot of the community guidelines to allow a lot more of that stuff on Twitter. And Elon didn't become the richest guy in the world basically by not being smart about what he does with his investments necessarily. So he's not going to go and spend $54 billion on a social media platform that he's just going to crash. And you know, if you looked into it, it's not even necessarily that he had the $54 billion to begin with. He's not a very cash heavy rich guy. A lot of his stuff is all
he had
tied
to go
up
out
in
and get the
investments.
funding. He had to go out and get the funding for it.
Bank of
Gotta
America
avoid those
gave
taxes.
him the funding. Yeah. Bank of America gave him the funding. He had to sell a bunch of SpaceX shares and a bunch of Tesla shares in order to afford this. So I think that at least for the time being, he's not going to make any radical changes. Any changes that he does make to the platform, I think are definitely going to be gradual, so that he hopes that the general public doesn't notice them as much if he's going to make any radical changes to it. There's things that I like about the guy, and there's things that I dislike about the guy on a personal level. I think that the fact that he's pushed like Solar City USA and Tesla to be what they are and as big as they are good things. He was even there was an interview that he was talking about Solar City USA, at least at this point in time. You know, the whole point of Solar City USA is you lease these solar panels for your house, and you lease to own them, and by a certain point you've paid them off, and they're really not gaining any money. And somebody once asked him, you know, what is the point of this business if you're not going to gain any money? And he said the point of the business is to, you know, make the world a better place as far as, you know, the environment goes, and that he would use money from his other business ventures to fund Solar City USA if it really came down to it. And if you're going to be a billionaire, like, that's a stand-up thing to do. I mean, at least you're trying to do something positive for the world. So, you know, putting aside the things that we don't like about Elon Musk, there are some good things about the guy.
Yeah, man's got really good PR. He's told what to say and says it right.
I mean, obviously, we don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. What it boils down to is the guy is fucking crazy, though. I mean, he is bonkers if you listen to what he says and what he tweets and whatnot, which is why I think he wants more free speech on Twitter.
Yeah. No, I think the dude fucking sucks.
Why do you think he sucks?
I think he has a power complex and just wants to take over whatever companies he can, which has been proven as he has. And
I agree with that.
I don't
He
think you're wrong
has a
on
big ego.
Yeah, I don't think he has any like good intentions in what he's doing. I think he's very self-centered and very focused on boosting himself more than anything else.
And I would agree
you don't
with
get
that.
to where you are. He doesn't get to where he is without that sort of drive. I mean, that is just, in my opinion,
but you have
self-evident.
Yeah, and that overrides every positive thing about him, in my opinion.
You know, he may have had good intentions at the beginning. I feel like there could have been some type of good intentions in the beginning, but I think Joe's right. I think there's more of a big PR stunt and a big PR team that's representing him now to help him push some of these, you know, good initiatives that, you know, he's been there. He may have been like, I really hate his ego, you know, like, all power to him if he wants to smoke weed and, you know, whatever, you know, and stuff like that. But like, I don't follow him. I've never followed him. I never will follow him. I did post a tweet and I tagged him in it, and now I'm getting fucking like people you should follow and stuff like that. And I keep dismissing it because I don't want to do it. But it's like he's got a big ego, and he's got to push his big ego everywhere he goes. That's just the way I feel about the man.
Yeah.
That's the sense that I get from him, is that he's got to control everything, and he's got that, you know, powerhouse, whatever.
So you guys hate him way more than I do, and the only reason that I probably don't hate him as much as you do is I don't care enough about the guy to really.
I don't. Well, I don't. Like, I wouldn't care about him. I wouldn't be talking about him unless I don't think about him at all normally. Like, he owns Tesla. But here's the only thing why I'm so passionate about him now is because of what the fuck he's doing to Twitter, and what I'm afraid of.
Hate for him is exactly why I don't like Bono. Okay. Bono does all these good things for the world,
Bono.
but he does it just to make himself look better.
Gross.
And I remember having this conversation with an old assistant manager of mine. He was a huge U2 fan, and I'm like, oh, I can't stand Bono, and he's like, why? I'm like, because the guy's a douchebag. Like he's narcissistic. Everything he does, every good thing he does, is canceled out by the fact that he's doing it just to look good and just to get the attention. And my manager's like, but at least these good things are being done. I'm like, well, yeah, at least these good things are being done, but that doesn't mean that I like the guy.
My thoughts on this are like, you're okay with hearing people like Elon Musk call the rescuer of the Thai children or Filipino children that were stuck in a cave, like calling him a pedophile and just being like, yeah, that's fine. He's done other cool things, but no, this guy just fucking sucks all around.
We're going to go back to the fact that I don't follow or look into or listen to, I don't follow him on Twitter. I don't know anything. I don't know much about Elon Musk other than the fact that he's rich. He owns what companies he owns and the few things that have made headlines here or there. So the fact that he said that about the rescuer, like this is all news to me. Like this is why I don't care about the guy.
Maybe this is why you don't dislike him as much as
Yeah, I think
but
you
I
should
don't like the guy either. I'm indifferent on the guy just because
we're not saying you're a shill.
He doesn't register enough on my radar to care enough. Like once again, I'm okay with talking about him on this topic because this is big news, and I realize that the dude is fucking bonkers to begin with and off the rails. Like he probably is literally crazy to a certain extent, but I mean, I also realize that the guy is. I mean, obviously, he's got a mind for business. He's not a dumb individual. He's a smart individual.
Do you think when people purchase businesses, they are the ones that lead the change, or do you think it's the developers that do that?
Like whatever.
I think they're the guys that buy the businesses that want to change, bring in the people that align with their thoughts and beliefs, and that those people are the ones that actually make the change.
Do you think foresight is better than the ability to actually make the change? Because, like, Elon Musk, like, I'm sure he saw electric cars being a good thing, given how climate change has been so popular over the last 20 years. But does that make him the good one?
No, I mean, obviously, he's capitalizing on the situation.
Exactly.
I mean,
he's not individually
naive,
making any change. He's not doing anything right. He's just buying the correct businesses.
And he's saying that he's doing it for... He's saying that he's doing it for... climate change, but he's doing it for money. Like, any people, any of these billionaires, he's rich for a reason. You're right. He is a businessman, but that's the problem with businessmen that don't have, like to say a heart, like that, the fact that he bought a social media company, and now there are tons of people who are worried about their jobs right now. Like, I mean, he doesn't care what happens to them. He's not going to care when there's massive layoffs.
I'm not saying this in defense of Elon Musk, but anytime a business gets purchased, everybody fears for their job.
Exactly. But when you're going from a public company to a private company, and you are as big as you are, like, there are some people who are at Twitter that are very passionate about Twitter and that are upset over this change, and because there are some people that throw their lives into these products, and sometimes these products don't make it to life. Sometimes these products make it to life, and I followed the designer who made Fleets. Fleets was the story version of it. It sucked. Like, don't get me wrong, it sucked. But he worked on that for over a year, and from a design process all the way up to production, and then to have it be there for like a couple months and then get pushed out. Like, I understand where some of these people come from, because I remember him posting his last Fleets on there, and how passionate he was about it. And there are people that are at Twitter that are really passionate about the things that they're building and stuff like that. And when you have a billionaire, whether it's Elon Musk, whether it would be Jeff Bezos or anybody else, come in there and buy this company. But when you have Elon Musk that has a lot of, I'm not saying Jeff Bezos doesn't have a lot of good, bad type things, and stuff like that. He has a great PR team because I've seen him post on his Twitter or Instagram account, going to these little, school things or whatever, and donating money and stuff like that. But like when you have a billionaire coming in and buying a public company, bringing it private, and then, being very First Amendment, oriented, you have to understand that they're probably trying to figure out what's going to happen to what, essentially they call their company, that they're entrusted with,
Absolutely.
So anyways, on that, and then I just wanted to point out too, like, how you said, like, I've like up until the offer was made on Elon Musk, like I didn't know a lot about him. Still don't know a lot about him. There's tons of things that I don't know about him, but there are some things, like you said, that I've looked in my news app, I've caught headlines, and stuff like that. Never really read the article. Sometimes I just look at the headlines and I make my own judgment on it. Sometimes I read the byline, when you open up the article that gives you like the TLDR type thing, stuff like that. But like I honestly don't. I didn't care for him, but it's fine. He could be over there on his Twitter. Didn't bother me up until this point. So
I would seriously read headlines about like the crazy shit that he said that didn't make any sense, and I'd be like, he seemed like the crazy uncle at Thanksgiving that everybody was like, I can't believe
he's like the Eddie. He's like the Eddie.
Uncle Mike over there.
He's like the Eddie in Vegas or Vacation series. Eddie. He's like the Eddie in Vacation. None of you guys ever watched it because you guys are too young. Roy, you know what I'm talking
Never
about, right?
seen.
Yeah, you guys need to watch Christmas Vacation. And it's like Eddie was the crazy brother-in-law of the family. And
wasn't he the one that when they did the Vegas Vacation, like he built or he bought the land out and like where they tested the nuclear weapons and he drilled a stake on a radioactive rock?
Yeah, and he was crazy because he buried money all throughout his property out there, and then he I don't remember what he in Vegas or not Vegas. It was a Christmas Vacation. He shows up in this motorhome or something like that, and he said he claimed that he gave all his money away to some famous TV host or something like that. But anyway, always made bad decisions. Always was like the crazy brother-in-law. You should really go back and watch the Vegas Vacation. Vegas Vacation and Christmas Vacation are the two that you should watch. Because those you really see the craziness of him out there. But anyways, don't watch Christmas Vacation 2. It wasn't worth it.
If I can summarize my thoughts, at the end of the day, with the man's buying the entire Twitter and the Twitter sphere being under his control, I feel very uncomfortable given that he's inherently right-wing as a self-professed anarcho-capitalist. So him buying anything that controls public discourse is just scary for me. And that's like the start and the end of the discussion for me. I do not want anyone like that controlling public discourse.
I agree.
And any one person should have this much power over a public platform such as Twitter. No one person should have that.
Exactly.
I would hope that, as the owner of what I would hope he would do, and I don't see this necessarily happening, as the owner of the company, he could step back and let the company run itself with a board of directors and whatnot, that can guide the company and just be hands off. Obviously you don't spend $54 billion on something just to be hands off, at least to some extent. You spend $54 billion because there's something you want to do with said company.
Or he doesn't want to get banned.
On that note, if you look at your Apple App Store and you go to social media and paid apps, the number 3 trending app is Toot, which is a Mastodon social media client. Just saying.
Is Mastodon a different Twitter?
So Mastodon is like a federated social media platform. So they have these things called instances, which are basically servers, and you belong to one of those servers when you join. And usually those servers align with some sort of interest of yours. It could be
It's like Discord then.
Not exactly, because you can go to the different federated servers, but it's basically like each federated server is a topic. So it could be fantasy books. You're into fantasy books, so you join a fantasy book federated server. That doesn't mean you can't go to like a Pokemon one. And so it's kind of like Reddit almost, but it works like Twitter.
A lot
but
faster
its
conversational
structure
style.
is like Reddit.
Interesting.
I've looked into it. I mean, it's kind of neat, but it's also very daunting, and you have to really know what you're looking for. And they don't use any algorithms to do anything. It's basically just all what people are posting. I don't think it'll ever blow up. Don't get me wrong, but it is the number 3 trending social media app on the App Store right now.
Matt, what are your final thoughts on this?
I don't have any investment in Twitter as it is right now. I think as a social media platform, it's too important to like global discourse. It's too important as a town square type of conversational platform for Elon Musk to be able to change it without being hated more, and change it without every government that can act against him acting against him in some way to retaliate from the power he's gaining by buying Twitter. I think he is an accelerator for positive technological change, so it'll be interesting to see just what Twitter becomes given what his hand has been in other companies. I really expect Twitter to become more open as opposed to more closed. So I don't see him trying to like throw a curtain over everybody's eyes and then try and do stuff with the algorithm in the background so that it promotes him and whatever ideology he has. I don't see that happening.
You're so optimistic. I love that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I'm just looking at like what he's actually done. Like, I don't see someone spending $45 billion just because they got banned from Twitter. And I don't know of any promotional things he's done to forward his companies to make more money. I mean, he's forwarded himself more, but I don't know if like you can optimize Twitter to sell more Teslas. Do you forget that he was under investigation
at one point for making comments about going public with a company so that stock prices would boost up? Like, you don't remember that? The FCC or whatever organization is in charge of stocks, they were investigating him because the SEC, thank you.
Yeah.
Because they claimed that he was basically trying to manipulate stock prices by what he was saying about said companies.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did they find out that he was saying those things? Where was he saying
Fucking Twitter, bro.
Like, he did it on Twitter, on interviews. I mean, these were public statements, very public statements. I mean, nothing ever really came of it, but I mean, a lot of the problems that he's gotten into in some of his own companies is because he was running his mouth.
That doesn't change now that he's bought in Twitter.
It was even worse that he fucking bought Twitter and then said that shit, so it went up.
No,
man's just manipulating the SEC every time he can.
I'm saying this in response to you saying that you don't think that he would use Twitter for his own personal gain to manipulate things for his own personal gain, when I think that there's at least strong enough evidence that he's possibly done that in the past with his other companies.
Okay, fair. I was saying that he wouldn't do it, but to like sell more Teslas or whatever. But that's clearly wrong. He can make money just by saying, "Oh, maybe I'll invest in this company or drop my."
Most of the ads you're
going
going to see are for Tesla, I'm sure.
That'll be ridiculous.
Yeah, sorry,
Wait,
man.
once
Didn't
he
mean
starts
to-
selling the like $25,000 Tesla that everyone can afford, it's over. He's won.
Yeah, GG.
That actually is very true. If there was like a $25,000 Tesla, I'd seriously consider buying a Tesla.
And
We
you
didn't mean
see it
to
everywhere
gang up
every time
on you,
go
Matt.
Twitter.
That's our bad.
No, it's totally okay. Totally okay.
Wasn't he also responsible for the GameStop?
No, he was
No, that was
Dogecoin.
Wall Street Bets. He was Dogecoin.
He
He was
the
just
Doge.
in that meme.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
It all happened around the same time, though.
Yeah, it did. That's what I was thinking. Okay, Tim, what are your final thoughts?
Oh man, only time will tell to see how things change, or whether it's for the better or for the worst. Only time will tell. Yeah.
Okay.
That was
You
the
think it
most
could be
vanilla
worse
thing I've ever heard.
Than Facebook. Do you think Twitter can get worse than Facebook is?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
man.
No
Yes.
shot.
Yes.
No, I can't
Facebook's already
imagine.
really bad.
Okay, so Twitter
Facebook-
has a bar that they can't sink below, is what you're saying.
Facebook has all the old people. Like that's where all the minion memes exist.
But
all
like
that.
the generation right below them is in Twitter. Like the young people don't use Twitter anymore. They use the Snapchats and the what else are they using? The
Telegram.
InstaSnap, TikToks.
Oh my god.
Almost everyone that I know that's like an influencer, everyone uses Twitter. No one uses Facebook. No one uses what's the other one?
I use Instagram.
Yeah,
Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter are the things.
Like the big influencers obviously have a presence on multiple social media platforms to reach a wider audience. The problem is when you say that I don't think Twitter, or I do think Twitter could stoop lower than Facebook. The problem is every single social network out there could be and is toxic because you can't stop trolls on the internet. You
Well, and you can't, and there's no way to do that. And that's what, and I'll just leave this on my final thoughts. But when you have a company and you take away that trust and safety and that security department that goes and looks for all those trolls and stuff like that, then you get misinformation. Like look at, I'm not trying to get politics in here and stuff like that too, but the misinformation about election fraud and, the stuff that was confirmed to come out of China, or not China, but Russia.
When Twitter is
like
going to
that.
close, shut down
Like,
for a day.
Yeah, like
you have to have community guidelines.
Yeah,
And
you do. In any,
community
you have to have.
guidelines.
Yeah, and so like Tim said, time will tell what happens. I hope, I don't know who said this, but I hope that there is some type of board of directors over it. Whether Elon Musk is on there, that he doesn't have one say or another. He probably will, unfortunately, because he owns the company, so he'll probably have the final say. But I hope that there's some type of community board driven on decisions made to whether you ban persons of public figures, such as Donald Trump and others who have been banned from the platform. I don't think that should fall under one person's decision. So I hope that there is some type of board of directors or safety or whatever that looks over that. So that's kind of my final thoughts. We'll see what happens. Maybe we can make a series out of this podcast once the sale's approved and see how it changes.
The poor guy that's worked at Twitter since its inception has worked his way up through the ranks and has been rooting for an edit button. Finally got chosen to lead that project.
Yeah,
just to be told
that they suspended all their projects. So
And he's getting fired.
No, I'm willing to bet we still get that edit button. Elon Musk isn't stupid.
It's gonna be free as well. That edit button is 100% gonna be free.
Elon Musk needs an edit
I
button.
will
If he
say
doesn't
this.
put it on, that'd be ridiculous.
Tim has a better chance of winning. I still don't think that he has a good chance of winning that bet because
I don't think
Elon
so
Musk
either.
once again is a smart businessman and knows that more people will subscribe to Twitter Blue with that edit button. But you have a better chance of getting it as free now that Elon Musk is buying Twitter.
I
Just
will
not
say-
a good chance. It's just better.
Having the edit button on Twitter is kind of sad because there are so many glorious tweets from like 2007 to 2012 that you can go back and look at. So it's going to be a shame to lose those.
What they should do with the edit button is make it so that it's not retroactive. So you can't go
agreed.
You can't go back and change those. It should be anything future and on, but all those other ones you shouldn't be able to go back and edit.
Great
And
take. Love
limited
that.
to a
They
certain
should.
amount of days or time or something
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
like
What if-
you can't edit it past a certain amount of time period.
What if you have the edit button, all right? But anything that you change in your tweet, it'll just tweet out that word itself and nothing else. So if you said the wrong there, it'll just tweet out there, the wrong there, or the correct there.
Everybody
What
can
if-
see that
what if
you're
they-
illiterate.
You don't know what the
What if
context
there's an
is.
edit button, but you have the ability as the person who's viewing the tweet to read the previous version of it as well?
Approved.
I'd be okay with
I
that.
think that
Ship
will
it.
be. I think that will be there. Yeah.
Master feature.
Okay. All right. We'll end it there.
All right. Well, we want to give a big thank you to all our live viewers and podcast listeners. Look for our replays on YouTube and the podcast version of our episodes on all your favorite podcasting apps, including iHeartRadio. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, so that way you can get our live show notifications and updates, and you can join in, and also for when we share new tech-related content. I've been your host, Matt Carter. For Matt, Roy, Tim, and Joseph, thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Gooply Cast.